This is Embrace Your Inner Boldness, a podcast about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. I'm Melissa Henning Frank, coach, guide, and founder of Becoming Bold. I help you strip away the conditioning, reclaim your voice, and rise into the power that's always been yours. Let's get right to it. Hey, thanks for tuning in. And before we get into it, I'd love to give a special shout out to the top areas in the U.S. consistently listening in weekly to the Embrace Your Inner Boldness podcast. So, hello to my listeners in Virginia, Michigan, and Wisconsin. I really appreciate you taking the time and bringing this podcast into your days. The support is so appreciated. Thank you specifically to my listeners in and around Washington, D.C., Milwaukee, and the Flint-Saginaw Bay City area. These are my biggest audiences, and I appreciate you all. So today's episode is for anyone who felt like the weirdo because of where their thoughts go and the ponderings they have, and probably have had their entire lives, but may not have had the space to talk about such things. Today we're talking about purpose and deeper mission and meaning in life. And today I'm asking you, what are we even here for? And leaders, this is where you need to lock in. Your employees are experiencing heavy burnout, and that's making them exhausted. That exhaustion is fighting for space with their desire, and they're aching to align with what they came here to do. But they don't have the time or capacity to even explore that. So they're disengaged and they're unhappy. This is the conversation I'm having all across the board. It doesn't matter how seasoned or green they are, it's the same problem needing to be solved across all demographics and all industries. Personally, I was able to navigate towards roles that fed my creativity when I was in corporate, and now I get to do the work that my soul truly came here to do, which is to help you think differently and help you remember who you were before the world told you who to be. So again, what are we even here for? I've been asking this question for as long as I can remember, and not necessarily in an existential crisis kind of way, but more in a quiet, staring up at the sky, dreaming and imagining kind of way. Especially as a kid, I'd look up there and I'd feel like there's more. This isn't it. More than this house, more than this pain, more than the rules and the traditions everyone seems to agree are real. I remember feeling deeply connected to animals, to the trees, to the woods. And I remember sensing people, like really reading energy before I had language for it. I remember understanding adults and their behaviors better than I should have at that age. And always having this underlying knowing that the things we spend so much time worrying about don't even matter in the way that we think they do. I also learned that talking this way was not socially acceptable. It was weird. It was misunderstood. In Catholic school, it was blasphemous. In corporate life, it was unrealistic. And interestingly, people get real comfortable in the systems they created or the systems that benefit them. So challenging the status quo, asking provocative questions, suggesting things could be thought about and done differently, and maybe we're living a limited life and acting like puppets or like fish in a bowl or like ants in an anthill. Well, all of that really made people mad. So this was the life that I lived inside as I learned to keep my thoughts to myself. To me, it was like the world was this stage set and I could see the edges of it. And maybe that's why I love the movie Moana so much. I can relate to her singing about how there's a line where the sky meets the sea and it calls to her in the song How Far I'll Go. All of the lyrics to that song are super relatable to me. My childhood wasn't safe and day-to-day survival was real. There was emotional survival, there was physical survival, and yet somehow I made it through by living in my wild imagination and physically holding on to one small exciting thing at a time. Sometimes it was a new pair of socks. Sometimes it was a fresh bottle of shampoo from Rite Aid. Sometimes a new sketchbook. Hand-me-down clothes that I hadn't worn before. Even a new seating arrangement at school. Art class. The smell of incense in church on Sunday. The symbolism of holy water and the repetitive prayers in church. digging in the dirt and finding life underneath the topsoil, being outside in the woods until the sun went down. One small thing to look forward to every single day. That's how I survived. I drew pictures, I wrote poems, I wandered in the woods. I imagined what life could be like. I connected with nature because nature didn't demand anything from me. And I didn't know it then, but those were gifts. And those gifts carried me, and they still do. Now as an adult, I can see it clearly. Those same gifts are the foundation of my work. I have the ability to believe that there's more, that hope is critical to bliss, that people are inherently good. Each person has unique and precious value, and we're all here to learn, to heal, be healed, to love, and be loved. Despite what the external world and all of its flawed humans showed me every single day, one small thing to look forward to every day changed the trajectory of my life. So what's been born out of that experience is a core belief that seeing the human behind the behavior is the key to understanding why we're all here and what we're here to do. I've become a leader for people who don't remember who they were before the world told them who to be, for people who have been through hard things, for people who are still experiencing hard things. My gift is inspiring people to see things differently and asking questions that they've never been asked, provoking the status quo, asking what if, helping them loosen their grip on the stories they were handed and consider that maybe, just maybe, there's more available to them. And that brings me back to the question, what are we even here for? I don't believe that purpose is something you discover like a hidden treasure after you suffer enough. I believe purpose starts with curiosity. It starts with detaching from the noise and with the simple desire to ask, what lights me up? What feels true? What feels like me? That's it. That's the beginning. And if you look at people we admire in pop culture and leadership, you'll see this pattern everywhere. For example, Lady Gaga, she didn't emerge fully formed. She tried, she experimented, she was rejected multiple times, and she kept creating anyway. Purpose looks different for every single person. And there is no right or wrong purpose. There's no better or worse one. And creativity is not optional. Creativity is the whole point. We were born with gifts, and then we were told to set them aside because they don't matter. We were told we can't make money with them, that they're unrealistic, that we need to be practical. That is a lie. Your creativity is your contribution to the world around you, where you are and where you'll be. You're not weird, you're a creator. Whether that's art, writing, teaching, building, leading, designing, listening, problem solving, creating safety, creating beauty, no matter where you are, whether you love your job or you hate it, you simply have to infuse who you are into your external circumstances and choose to be curious. So whatever you naturally do, that's the clue to figuring out the meaning of your existence. That's your purpose. Our systems don't want us out here thriving in our creativity, and we aren't set up on an easy path because of these systems. But it's not impossible at all to beat the systems and do things differently. That's how we evolve as humans. If you're listening and thinking, I don't know what the hell my purpose is, start with these 4 things. Remember, notice, detach, and start small. So remember, what did you love before you were told to grow up? What did you do for hours without being asked? And notice, what gives you energy instead of draining your energy? What do people come to you for without you trying? What's natural for you? Detach. Stop asking if it'll make sense or make money right away. Purpose doesn't respond to pressure. It responds to that curiosity. Start small. You don't need a complete rebrand or a 5-year plan. You need a sketchbook, a walk, a note in your phone, 10 minutes a day. Let's talk about bringing purpose into your life. Living your purpose doesn't have to mean quitting your job tomorrow, but I won't discourage it if that's in your best interest. And yes, you can live your purpose while you're working in your current job, even if you think it's not aligned with your deeper purpose. I've done it. The key is to pay attention to one little thing every day that you can look forward to. Living your purpose means letting your creativity breathe and take up some space. So create before you consume. Make before you judge. Play before you optimize. Normalize doing things in a new way. Embrace the cringe of being unique or strange. Decide that progress is better than perfection and done is better than perfect. Lead with your heart more than your head. Find one small thing to look forward to every single day. When you do that, something incredibly beautiful happens. You give something to the world that only you can give. And that is why we're here. We're not here to perform or to survive endlessly. We're here to remember, to create, to contribute. And I promise, if you do those 4 things, remember, notice, detach, start small, you will start living your purpose without even realizing that's what you're doing. And you'll continue growing and evolving into that purpose from there. One day, you're going to realize that you're smiling and you have that warm feeling in your chest that brings you bliss, all because you started living your purpose. The crazy thing is, the circumstances, people, and the world around you might stay the same even after your inner world starts going through this new way of being. That energy starts rippling out and things start improving because you decided that's how you wanted it to be. New opportunities come to you. The right people start coming to you. Your job becomes more bearable or even fulfilling. Or maybe you find a new one that fits you so much better. You become equipped to cope with the things that used to stress you the fuck out because you're getting closer to realizing your purpose. Remember who you were before the world told you who to be, and let that remembering be your compass. And leaders, think about ways that you can feed your employees' curiosity and creativity. What can be done differently? How can you better align their bigger purpose with their current and future roles? How can you better communicate that this is important to you also? The future of work depends on this, and it's time to get after it. Future you loves that you made it this far in this episode. I want to make sure you remember that I have so many free resources available for you. If you're ready to take that small step towards your purpose, follow my social media pages and stay tuned to this frequency. If you've ever felt like there's got to be more, if you've ever looked up at the sky and felt it in your bones, if you've ever seen it in your dreams, you're not wrong. There is more. And a lot of people are beginning to understand this. It's definitely exciting. Your desire to find your purpose is the beginning of living it. At home, at work, all of it. So start small, stay curious, and trust the gifts that have been carrying you all along. Keep becoming you. And until next time, please be kind to your mind. That's it for today's episode of Embrace Your Inner Boldness. If this stirred something in you, don't let it fade. Screenshot this episode, tag me at Becoming Bold LLC, and share it with someone else who's ready to rise. And hey, if you haven't already, take a second to subscribe, rate, and review the show. That's how we spread the boldness and keep this movement growing. Whatever came up for you today, feel the fear and do it anyway. You don't need to wait for perfect timing or permission. You are powerful. You are ready. And remember, the only limit to your boldness is the one you set for yourself. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and keep becoming you.